on today's Airborne. The Small Aircraft Revitalization Act is introduced in the Senate. Layoffs are reported at Cessna. And 3 lives lost when an Angel flight goes down. Welcome to Airborne on Aero-TV. I'm Ashley Hale. The Small Aircraft Revitalization Act of 2013 has been introduced in the Senate. This is the Senate companion to H.R. 1848, introduced by U.S. Representative Mike Pompeo and a bipartisan group of U.S. House members earlier this month. The Small Aircraft Revitalization Act of 2013 establishes a certain future date for the modernization and implementation of the FAA's Small Aircraft and Parts Certification process, a much-needed fix at a time when the average age of general aviation airplanes is close to 40. Under current regulations, the cost of investing in new equipment has for too long been restricted by outdated regulations. The bill directs the FAA to make changes proposed by the Aviation Rulemaking Committee, composed of aviation authorities and industry representatives from around the world, to remove barriers limiting investments in new designs and make available life-saving safety equipment for existing airplanes. GAMA, the General Aviation Manufacturers Association, said in a statement late last week that it welcomes the bill. An unspecified number of workers have been laid off at Cessna, according to a company statement. The move came last Thursday, a month after the planemaker asked for voluntary retirements from both salaried and hourly workers. According to a report in the Wichita Eagle, the company said in a statement that it was implementing a plan announced April 29th. Both the company and the union had hoped that enough workers would accept retirement and make layoffs unnecessary, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Cessna says that the market for business jets continues to be soft, and it has not been building a backlog of orders despite some indications of an economic recovery and improved corporate profits. Textron CEO Scott Donnelly said in a conference call last month that the more typical situation has been, quote, "You take an order for an aircraft and you deliver the aircraft," end quote. The retirement plan and subsequent layoffs are part of a strategy to align Cessna's workforce with its production and sales forecast. Cessna employs 8,200 people, with the majority of those working in Wichita. A PA-34 twin-engined Seneca reportedly broke apart in flight before impacting the ground last Friday in a wooded area near Ephratah, New York, claiming the lives of a pilot and 2 passengers. Tragically, the flight from Bedford, Massachusetts to Rome, New York was being operated as an Angel flight. Killed in the accident was pilot John Campbell, 70, of Stamford, Connecticut, as well as Frank and Evelyn Amorosa of Utica, New York. Mr. Amorosa was being transported by Angel flight due to brain cancer when the accident occurred. The accident took place just after 1700 local time, and the wreckage is reportedly scattered over an area that is reported to be some 5 miles wide. Much of the wreckage came to rest in a pond, so recovery is expected to take some time before the aircraft is completely recovered. According to a report on foxnews.com, it was raining slightly with winds of 13 to 14 miles per hour and 10 miles visibility at the time of the crash. As of our production deadline, 1 body has still not been recovered. Angel Flight is a nonprofit group that arranges free air transportation for sick patients from volunteer pilots. Both the FAA and the NTSB are investigating. Seaplanes are no longer welcome on Oregon's Waldo Lake. Legislation passed by the Oregon legislature and signed by Governor John Kitzhaber bans seaplane operations from the second deepest lake in the state. The bill had the backing of the Oregon chapter of the Sierra Club. The chapter's director, Brian Pasco, said in a statement that the action, quote, will protect Waldo Lake's unique ecology and ensure that it is a place for quiet recreation and solitude to be enjoyed by Oregonians for generations to come, end quote. This according to a report in the Oregonian. The Oregon State Marine Board banned motorized boats from using the lake, but had no jurisdiction over aircraft, so seaplanes were exempted from the ban. This legislation supersedes that exemption. Republican Representative Bruce Hanna said that the bill was a way for a certain segment of the population to take the lake away from some Oregonians, quote, and to restrict it to those who want it all to themselves, end quote. A one-year around-the-world flight aboard a Pipistrel Virus SW aircraft, organized by Wings for Science in association with renowned universities and research institutes, is progressing according to schedule, according to a report out of Luxembourg, where the project is based. The flight originated from Luxembourg on the 1st of June of 2012 and is due to arrive on June 17, 2013 in Le Bourget, France, during the 50th Paris Air Show. The purpose of the around-the-world flight is to offer an aerial capacity to science. The crew was last reported to be in Amman, Jordan, on their way back to Europe to meet the arrival deadline. You're watching Airborne, more in a moment.
Since the early days of powered flight, pilots have struggled with landing in crosswinds and learning proper crosswind landing techniques. Even today, most crosswind landing skills are learned through trial and error, sometimes with disastrous results. Believe it or not, the most common contributing factor in weather-related accidents each year is crosswinds. The second most common factor is wind gusts. In fact, crosswinds and wind gusts cause more landing accidents than fog, thunderstorms, and icing combined. That's where the Redbird X-Wind SE comes in. It teaches pilots the proper techniques to meet and beat these top two causes of weather-related landing accidents. By placing pilots in gusty crosswind conditions for extended periods of time, the X-Wind SE gives instructors all the time they need to teach the pilot the proper techniques for landing in challenging crosswind conditions. For more information on Redbird flight simulations, the Redbird X-Wind SE, and Redbird's entire line of flight training devices, visit www.redbirdflightsimulations.com.
Welcome back. If you'd like to suggest a story for Airborne, Aero-TV, our website, or our podcast, drop us an email to news-spy@aero-news.net. Natural and man-made obstructions could force the partial closure of the Hilton Head, South Carolina airport. The FAA has notified Beaufort County, South Carolina, that trees and man-made objects may be obstructing approach corridors for Hilton Head Airport. An FAA notice received by the county indicated that night instrument approaches might be suspended at KHDX until the problem is solved. Among the issues cited by the FAA in the letter is collision avoidance lighting on a 260-foot tall communications tower near the airport that has stopped operating. A stand of trees is also mentioned as a possible hazard to navigation. The Island Packet newspaper reports that the county requested a waiver of the notice on Friday, which was immediately rejected by the agency. Traffic at the airport has not yet been affected, but the FAA could order the airport to essentially close at night. The county has asked its airport consultant to assess the problem and come up with an action plan to address it. Readjusting to civilian life after being wounded in combat is never an easy task, but Renegade Light Sport Training Division hopes to do its part by announcing a new Wounded Warrior program. Dubbed the Broken Wing Project, the company will introduce our wounded military heroes to the freedom of flight, using two specially designed and equipped SC-07 speed cruisers. Renegade, based in Fort Pierce, Florida, says the speed cruiser is the perfect aircraft for this important mission of giving a wounded warrior the opportunity to become a light sport pilot. It provides easy access to a 48-inch wide cabin that is roomy enough for a 6'9" 300-pound person. Additionally, all flight controls can be operated by hand, which removes a physical barrier that previously precluded many from ever learning to fly. The program is the brainchild of Renegade light sport owner Christopher "Doc" Bailey, a former U.S. Army medevac pilot. Doc has been successful in enlisting corporate sponsorship so the veterans can learn to fly free of charge. Doc believes that given the successful completion of this program, the heightened morale of these brave young men and women would certainly inspire them to further their success. This 2 to 3 week accelerated program is unique and is the only one of its kind in the United States. Each week, we share with you a sample of an online video one of our viewers found especially entertaining. We call it the Aero Video of the Week. So you think you're a Top Gun? Well, try taking a test flight in the F35, including intentional departure and recovery from stall during high angle of attack testing. This high-altitude roller coaster ride is found on YouTube by searching F35 flight testing intentional departure. So how far would you fly for a free hot dog? On Saturday, May 18th, some pilots flew from as far as Virginia, Maryland, and Michigan to Clermont County Airport near Cincinnati, Ohio, for just that, a free hot dog. Of course, that wasn't the only reason for their journey. The hot dogs were a ritual part of the annual Sporty's fly-in. This was the 9th such event, and about 100 aircraft arrived for the occasion. There were dozens of commercial exhibitors, shopping at Sporty's retail store, and free seminars were once again popular, with presentations on flying with the iPad, hosted by Sporty's Vice President Brett Kobe. Other seminars were presented by Garmin, Aspen Avionics, ForeFlight, and In-Flight Cam. As part of the International Learn to Fly Day, Sporty's Academy also provided several introductory flights to aspiring pilots. Sporty's president, Michael Wolf, said, quote, "It's a fun day for our customers, our exhibitors, and our own staff who enjoy this busy day at our airport. And I'm lucky to be the one to inform a customer that he has won a brand new airplane," end quote. That winner of Sporty's 2013 airplane sweepstakes was Christopher Boyle of Arcata, California. He's the winner of a brand new Legend Cub. Next year's Fly-In and Sweepstakes Award is scheduled for Saturday, May 17th, 2014. Well, that's our program for Tuesday, May 28th. Remember, you can get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. And please remember that Airborne is streamed twice weekly and is always online. Join us again this Friday for a new edition of Airborne. I'm Ashley Hale. Thanks for watching.